Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Tiffany Stevenson, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer for Protein Industries Canada. Before we get started with today's virtual program, I would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. Please take a moment in reflection to acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and consider how we can each, in our own way, try to move forward in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Joining me for today's announcement, I have with us Mr. Cody Bloy, Member of Parliament for Kings Hants, Bill Greuel, CEO of Protein Industries Canada, Kevin McGoo, CEO of More Than Protein Ingredients, Leonard Youngworth, COO of Quantum Mechanical Technologies, and Pat Heminger from More Than Protein Ingredients, who is speaking on behalf of Bill Hamman of Hamman Ag Research. We will also have a special video from the Honorable Nate Horner, Minister of Agriculture and Forestry from the province of Alberta. To get us started with today's announcement, I would like to introduce Mr. Cody Bloy, who is here on behalf of the Minister of Innovation, Science and Economic Development, Minister Francois Champagne. Cody Bloy was elected as Member of Parliament for Kings Hants in 2019. Since that time, Cody has become a member of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Agriculture and Agri-Food and was named the chair of the committee in 2021. Cody is also chair of the Liberal Atlantic Caucus and previously held the position of chair of the Liberal Rural Caucus. Welcome, Cody.
Thank you very much, Tiffany, and thank you for the warm introduction. It's great to see everyone on the screen, and I was just talking offline with some of the participants as part of today's announcement to say I look forward to being able to get out to Saskatchewan and the Prairie provinces in particular, certainly in April. The House calendar has been challenging, and of course, so too has COVID, but I'll look forward to being able to see everyone in person and be able to talk and see in person on the important announcement that we have today. As was mentioned, I'm here on behalf of my honorable colleague, Francois-Philippe Champagne. And I want to just start by highlighting the work of the Superclusters. Of course, today is about Protein Industries Canada. And Bill, let me say to you and to your entire team, we're certainly proud of the work that you're doing. Of course, based in Western Canada, but helping provide important projects and innovation across the country and indeed world leading in many cases. But this was an initiative that the Government of Canada undertook 5 different superclusters, whether it be digital technologies, next generation manufacturing, or even in my backyard here in Atlantic Canada on the Ocean Supercluster, Kendra McDonald, the CEO of that particular organization, doing really important work. And I know, Bill, that there's collaboration between the different superclusters accordingly. But the entire goal of the supercluster initiative was to bring together leadership between government, between private industry, academia, to be able to create a hub for research, for innovation, and really to draw investment from world-leading companies around the world, but indeed Canadian companies that are helping to drive innovation right here at home. And today's announcement is all about that in particular. Plant-based protein has a really important future globally. And of course, we're well positioned in this country, given our agriculture and agri-food capacity, to capitalize on that, to help feed the world in a sustainable manner and to be able to meet the changing consumer demands as well in the days ahead. I don't have the number right in front of me, but I believe it's somewhere around the industry could represent $250 billion globally by 2035. The investments we're making through the supercluster and the investment today is all about being able to position us for success in that economy. And at the end of the day, I'm proud, and of course, Bill, I know you'll have more details to talk about as well, and that through the Supercluster initiative, through the funding of the Government of Canada, we have just over $5.7 million to contribute to a project today that is going to lead to a research line capability in Bowden, Alberta. And of course, we have Kevin and Pat and others on the line that are helping to lead that, an initiative between 6 different partnerships. And as someone that believes in the important role of the private sector in terms of driving innovation and government to set the conditions, Kevin, let me say to you guys, to your entire company, thank you for your work. I know that there's Sika Diana is also part of this out of Calgary. Quantum mechanical technology. I know we'll hear from Leonard later today, or in the lineup from Prince Albert. Big softball town. I remember being in Prince Albert, Leonard, many times for softball. Look forward to getting back and seeing you at some time soon. Hamman Ag Research out of Lethbridge, and the Food Processing Development Center out of Leduc, and of course the National Research Center of Saskatoon. That's bringing together all that partnership, that ingenuity, that research to help make a difference. And just wanted to say we're very pleased on behalf of the Government of Canada to help provide that investment. And I'll turn it back to perhaps Bill or to Tiffany to speak on behalf of PIC and the importance of this announcement.
Great, thank you so much, Cody, and thank you again to the Government of Canada for their contribution and everyone who's joined us today. You know, I'm pleased to once again be joined by a group of trailblazing companies who are passionate about Canada's plant-based sector, and to bring news of another exciting project that will help Canada become a global leader in the production of those plant-based foods and ingredients. And Cody, you were right, this is a $250 billion opportunity for us on a global basis. Today, we are making Protein Industry Canada's 36th project announcement. 36, that means on average, we've made an announcement every month since June of 2019, when we made our very first announcement in Calgary, Alberta. And if you'd have asked me 3 years ago, before we'd made any announcements, that I'd be here today making our 36th, and that Protein Industries Canada, together with our company partners, would be investing well over $400 million into Canada's plant-based ecosystem, I may have responded with a bit of a doubtful look. You know, I've always believed that Canada had the ability to be a leader in the production of plant-based ingredients. But what I didn't really truly appreciate 3 years ago was the passion, the innovation, and dedication that our trailblazing companies, from startups to SMEs to large anchor firms, possessed. And furthermore, how that passion and innovation and dedication could be multiplied when they work together. So I've learned a lot at my time at Protein Industries Canada, but I'd say one of the most significant things is that when companies do work together, when they collaborate, 1 and 1 does not equal 2. And in fact, I would say that collaboration becomes a significant multiplier. And this project is just a great example of that. So today I'm so pleased to announce a new $29 million project, 5.7 of which will come from Protein Industries Canada, that will see these 3 companies, More Than Protein, Quantum Mechanical Technologies, and Hamman Ag Research, join to create one of the most functional plant-based ingredients on the market. And by working together and innovating at every step of the value chain, from on-farm production and agronomic practices to pre-processing and processing, the partners aim to create the next generation of food protein ingredients. And with that passion, innovation, and commitment, they will contribute to Canada's rapidly growing landscape of plant-based processing facilities and businesses. And furthermore, to Canada's ever more recognizable global brand as a leader in the production of plant-based ingredients and food. If Canada is to earn our share of having $25 billion of plant-based food, feed, and ingredient sector by 2035, we need to focus on increasing the quantity and quality of ingredient processing. And from there, we must continue to integrate our value chain and create relationships between ingredient processors and consumer packaged goods companies. And this integration from field to ingredient to grocery store shelf is Canada's greatest strength, and also how we will capture the most value, driving economic growth and creating jobs for Canadians. So I would like to thank the project partners for their commitment and for being leaders of Canada's plant-based ecosystem. And I would like to thank all the Protein Industry Canada staff who have worked on this project. In closing, I would like to thank the federal government, specifically the Honorable Francois-Philippe Champagne and the Department of Innovation, Science and Economic Development for their support of Protein Industries Canada and the Innovation Supercluster Initiative. It was their foresight into the creation of Protein Industries Canada that started us on this trajectory. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce a video that comes from the Honorable Nate Horner, Minister of Agriculture and Forestry in the province of Alberta.
Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Rural Economic Development, it's a pleasure to be here. Last fall, our department helped break ground on More Than Protein's new pulse fractionation plant in Bowden. Today, I'm excited to be here to recognize this $5.7 million investment from Protein Industries Canada in More Than Protein and their partners. Today's investment will expand on our strengths by increasing the usability of our plant-based protein ingredients. The plant-based protein sector is one of the major opportunities for growth and diversification in our agri-processing industry. As Alberta recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic, we're focused on creating jobs now and building a dynamic future for rural communities across the province. We're supporting plant-based industry development through investment attraction, business development services, product and process development, research and innovation, and fostering industry-academia collaboration. Right now, we're actively working on 10 new projects with a potential investment value of more than $765 million, estimated to lead to 379 new jobs right here in the province. Alberta is a renowned producer and exporter of pulse crops. Demand for plant-based proteins around the world is increasing, which is good news for our crop producers and food processors. Last year, Alberta produced 2.3 million tons of pulses, 28% of Canada's pulse production. And our total value-added exports grew by a whopping 23.4% to $8.2 billion. The continued growth of Alberta's value-added exports is a key component of Alberta's recovery plan. We want to see our agriculture and food industry not just succeed, but thrive. Protein Industries Canada is at the forefront of plant protein technology and is central to today's investment. They continue to capitalize on Alberta's potential. Congratulations to Protein Industries Canada, More Than Protein, and all partners involved in today's important announcement. Together, we will grow and diversify Alberta's plant protein sector for years to come.
Great, thank you, Minister Horner, for those words. And I really do appreciate the notion that we want to not only succeed, but thrive. And I think that's what this project is going to do. And so with that, I'd be pleased to introduce Kevin Magoo, CEO of More Than Protein Ingredients. Kevin.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, all, and happy St. Paddy's Day. Luck of the Irish is with us today, I hope. So on behalf of More Than Protein Ingredients, I would like to thank Protein Industries Canada, Quantum Mechanical QTMI, and Hamman Ag Research for being our collaborative partners. The plant-based industry does not only create opportunity for More Than Protein, but as a Canadian, it means new jobs, both rural and urban. New tax base, leading edge research, increase for Canadian crops, local economic development, a green new industry, and a supply chain that produces Canadian food products rather than shipping raw materials abroad. More Than Protein looks forward. We're working with our partners to develop out one of the most sustainable and innovative plant-based supply chains in North America. While More Than Protein is on its first anniversary, our founders have been working for years to bring innovation to the plant-based protein space and to develop a seed to finished product supply chain. Our journey has built many relationships, which include engaging genetic and breeding companies that have supply our seed, local farmers that grow and supply our crops, investors that not only invest, but also bring extensive experience, technology companies such as Cicadania that enable us to bring leading edge plant-based protein, that enable us to build a plant-based protein extraction facility in Bowden, Alberta. And finally, we have received extensive support from all levels of government. More Than Protein feels that our production facility will be one of the most innovative plants in North America. And this starts with our amazing team. We have in-depth knowledge when it comes to crop production, processing, food ingredients, food safety, finance, supply chain management, and project development. But more importantly, All our members are very collaborative and had a robust entrepreneurial spirit. We aim to bring strong partnerships with our technology partners, upstream suppliers, and downstream customers to develop new processes and products, creating efficiencies for foundational ingredients that will enable food manufacturers to produce better products while reducing their operation costs. Our emphasis is on process and functionality. Our goal is to develop the capacity to rapidly develop new products and provide a footing for food manufacturers to produce plant-based foods of the future. And finally, to build a supply chain and manufacturing facility that works towards carbon neutral and having net zero waste, supporting local farmers and agriculture. This brings us to what we're here to discuss today. Our PIC project focuses on building an innovative seed to plant protein ingredient supply chain. More Than Protein's contribution to this project is to develop a leading edge innovation, commercial scale, plant-based protein line. It will be housed in our Bowden facility that will be operational along with our other production lines. This line will play a pivotal role in developing new plant-based proteins, starch, fibers, and sugars for Canadian food manufacturers that are looking for plant-based ingredients that deliver better functionality and improve sensory experience for the customers. For example, a plant-based protein that effortlessly emulsifies, similar to an egg yolk used to produce mayonnaise. Second, the innovation line will enable the consortium members to develop zero waste solutions where all our raw materials are processed, creating value-added ingredients that have usages not only for food manufacturers, but for the pet and livestock industry and emerging industries such as bioplastics. Third, the innovation line will provide new market opportunities for farmers. This will enable the development of new protein sources from new crops such as lupins, enabling farmers to diversify their crops. It will enable the development of commercial scale protein extraction processes for new plant-based proteins that enable food manufacturers to develop new and improved alternative dairy and meat products. Ideally, the innovation line will focus on playing a pivotal role in strengthening the Canadian plant-based supply chain and its ability to rapidly develop new sustainable food ingredients for food manufacturers and developing new markets for farmers. We look forward to working with all our project partners. And on that note, I will now pass the mic to Leonard from QTMI.
Thank you, Kevin. I would like to introduce myself, Leonard Youngworth, and our Prince Albert, Saskatchewan-based company, Quantum Mechanical Technology, Inc. The company was founded by our CEO, Dr. Michael Jabuik, about 10 years ago. As a company, we have concentrated on introducing clean label technologies to the food processing sector. Our in-house design, manufacturing, and supply capability has positioned us to take full advantage of Canada's emerging plant-based protein industry. I would like to thank Bill and Protein Industries Canada, as well as Kevin with More Than Protein, for their efforts to include our technology in this very exciting project. QMTI's equipment will be used to precondition the processing materials as they enter the R&D facility. The primary products tested will be yellow peas and sweet yellow lupins. Downstream refining benefits will be analyzed and processes tweaked as the project progresses. Most plant-based proteins exhibit an earthy, grassy, often bitter aftertaste, and that is noted in all of the downstream products, including their proteins and starches. Quantum Mechanical's GPMW 75, that is part of this project, will assist in deflavoring these plant-based components with the end goal of supplying a more neutral flavored, consumer acceptable commodity. Product functionalities will be analyzed with zero negative attributes being the desired outcome. The previously mentioned commodities often will have a naturally occurring level of yeast, molds, and bacteria when they arrive at the facility. These are the all negative attributes that ultimately affect component quality. Our equipment provides a safety or kill step to address these microbial concerns. The enzymatic activity within the product is also arrested. This step dramatically improves the product stability and its resultant shelf life. QMTI's technology was also considered for this project because the commodity's nutritional and functional benefits are preserved. Our equipment uses only electricity. No harsh chemicals or excessive heat is used. To be part of a world-class plant-based protein processing facility will be a huge step forward in establishing our name in this emerging ingredient space. I'll now pass the presentation over to Pat Hamman. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to address everyone. Dr. Bill Hamman from Hamman Ag Research is unfortunately not able to make it here this morning, so I'll be echoing his thoughts. Firstly, my role with MTP is basically everything to do with seed and commercial production to supply product to the new facility in Bowden. Dr. Bill Hamman has been involved in ag research in Western Canada for 40 years, and this is one of the most intensive, innovative agronomic projects he's been involved in. Dr. Bill's team, along with More Than Protein, are doing research into raising the protein level in yellow peas by applying, identifying, and evaluating in-crop agronomy, along with variety evaluation and selection. This is a very large project that tested over 450 treatments. While protein and yield are important factors in variety and treatment selection, we will be evaluating all plots for the functionality of the peas themselves. Armed with these results, we'll be moving forward in our research to further all aspects of producing a high-quality product that is beneficial to the protein industry, growers, and consumers. It was important for all of us involved that we follow best management practices and that our research can and will be easily adaptable by Canadian growers. These experiments will enable More Than Protein to be fully integrated and sustainable. It will complete the supply chain that will be an important part of becoming a leader in the plant-based food industry. On behalf of Dr. Bill Hamman, his staff, Didsbury Seeds, and myself, I would like to thank More Than Protein Industries Canada for verifying our innovative vision of such a large-scale agronomic venture.
Thank you, Pat, and thank you for everyone for joining today's announcement. That ends the formal part of the announcement, and we will now move on to questions. So if members of the media have any questions for any of the panelists, you may ask them now, and you may do that by using the raise your hand function and we can unmute you, or by typing it into the Q&A or chat function. And if your question is for a specific speaker, if you could please let us know that. So if you have any questions, you may go ahead and ask them now to any of our speakers. Or do we have a shy audience today? I'm just checking the chat function. Okay, I'm a little bit surprised, but we don't seem to have any questions from any members of the audience. I thought there was a hand raised earlier, but it has been taken down. So last call, if there's any questions for any members. Okay, well, with that, I guess we will come to a close. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you Cody for joining us especially. We very much appreciate the support of the federal government in all that we are trying to do here at Protein Industries Canada. So happy St. Patrick's Day and have a good rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.